All right, welcome back, everybody. This is Bruce with the Epic Experiment. Another week, another deck. This week we're doing something old but made new again. We're doing allies. We're doing General Tazri. So, with the Avatar set coming out, we have a whole bunch of new allies in this that came out. Now, I had built this deck years ago with Oath of the Gatewatch and the allies that were floating around then. So, it's sort of been dormant for the last number of years, but with the new commander, new cards from Avatar, it's breathed a whole lot of new life back into the allies as a strategy. So here's this bracket 2 list, helmed by General Tazri. So 4 and a white for a 3/4 legendary creature human ally. When General Tazri enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an ally creature card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. That's fantastic because you can go and replay your commander from your command zone to go and get all sorts of cool allies. And there's lots of different effects, so we'll talk about what some of them are. And then white, blue, black, red, green. Ally creatures you control get +X until end of turn, where X the number of colors among those creatures. So this is a super sort of fun card. It allows you to lay the beats down on your opponents pretty good. It goes and finds you stuff. It's all about playing allies. Now, full disclosure. This bracket 2 list is a bracket 2 list because of a couple of things. First off, no game changers in this list. The closest I think I come might be the Supreme Verdict in it. But it is pretty fun. The problem you run into, all the lands are tap lands, or just about all of them, because I was really leaning into the 5 color aspect of it and wanting to find 5 colors. There's also a hidden additional win con that we're talking about. If you're looking at the screen, maybe you'll spot it. But we'll talk about it in a second too. So it's a little bit slow. The second problem it has is because it's a creature heavy deck, you need to have creatures on the battlefield. So let's talk about. Let's first start with the creatures. I think that's probably a good place to start with them. What are we doing? What are we going to do with all these allies that are that we want to put in play and make them go crazy? Because I've got there's almost 35 of them here. So, all right. First off, we have Tazri Warcaller, 3 green for a 2/1 with rally. Whenever Tazri Warcaller or another ally enters the battlefield under your control, creatures you control get +2/+2 until end of turn. This is sort of like your staple overrun effect, and if you can trigger it a bunch of times in a turn, play 2 or 3 allies, and you're going to find that this pretty much means your team is going to just get to the business of killing your opponent's dead. Veteran War Leader, 1 green-white for a star human soldier ally. Veteran War Leader's power and toughness are equal to the number of creatures you control. Tap another untapped ally you control. Veteran War Leader gains your choice of first strike, vigilance, or trample. So this gets very large, it then gets trample, and then you kill your opponent dead. All right. Talus Paladin, so 3 and a white for a 2/3 legendary creature human knight ally. Whenever Talus Paladin or another ally enters the battlefield under your control, you may have allies you control gain lifelink until end of turn, and you may put a +1/+1 counter on Talus Paladin. Lifelink is key because you end up having to turn your thing sideways, and getting them bigger is super good too. Kazul Warlord, 4 and a red for a 3/3. Minotaur Warrior ally. Whenever Kazul Warlord or another ally enters the battlefield under your control, you may put a +1/+1 counter on each ally creature you control. Alright. Lantern Scout, 2 and a white, 3/2, rally. So put another ally into the battlefield, and your creatures you control get lifelink. Okay. So we're going to pile on the life total. 2 and a white for a Kabira Evangels, a 2/3 with ally. When it enters an ally, allies you control get protection from the chosen color of your until end of turn. All right, so you can give it protection from black, protection from green, protection from whatever you need to. Ondu War Cleric, 1 and a white for 2/2. This is an ally, but it's cohort. So tap an untapped ally and tap this creature. You gain 2 life. I'm playing this as a 2/2 for 2 with ally on it to easily trigger it, but sometimes I use it to cohort. Cliffhaven Vampire, 2 white black for a 2/4 vampire ally, flying, and whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. That can go kind of ham if there is an infinite combo here, but it's takes 3 cards or more. Aang at the Crossroads, 2 white, green, blue for a 3/3 legendary creature human avatar ally. When Aang enters the battlefield, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a creature card from among with a mana value 4 or less from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest in the bottom of your library. When another creature you control leaves the battlefield, transform Aang at the beginning of the next upkeep. And then when you transform it, it turns into Aang, Destined Savior. So 4/4 flying land creatures you control have vigilance at the beginning of combat on your turn. Earthbend 2. Sure. I mean, I have yet to see that one get resolved. It sounds like fun. I kind of want to do it. It's mostly just another cool ally that I can run. Munda, Ambush Leader. So 2 white red for a 3/4 with haste. It's an ally. Whenever Munda or another ally enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library. If you reveal any number of ally cards from among them, then put those cards on the top of your library in any order, then the rest on the bottom in any order. All right, so a little bit of card selection. Aang, Swift Savior, 1 white blue for a 2/3 with flash and flying. When Aang enters the battlefield, up to one other target creature, airbend up to one other target creature or spell. So you can go put it out of, bounce it off the battlefield and to replay it to trigger rally again. Waterbend 8 and transform Aang. All right, when we transform Aang, it turns into Aang and La Ocean's Fury. It's a 5/5 with reach and trample. Whenever Aang and La attack, put a +1 counter on each tapped creature you control. All right, seems good to me. All right, next we get Angelic Captain, 3 white red for a 4/3 flying ally. Angelic Captain attacks, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each other attacking ally. So get through, punch through, get them dead. Gideon, ally of Zendikar, 2 white for a 4 loyalty. Planeswalker and +1 until end of turn. Gideon, ally of Zendikar, becomes a 5/5 human soldier ally creature token with indestructible that's still a Planeswalker. Prevent all damage to be dealt to him this turn. 0, put a 2/2 white knight ally creature token on the battlefield. That is what I'm going to do most frequently with it. And then -4, you get an emblem with creatures you control, you get +1/+1. You're usually zeroing that to make the ally to get the rally triggers. Wartime Protesters, 3 and a white for a 4. An ally enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature, and it gains haste until end of turn. Cool, things get haste, that sounds good. Hakoda, Selfless Commander, 3 and a white, 3/5, human warrior ally with vigilance. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may cast ally spells from the top of your library. Sacrifice Hakoda, creatures you control get +0/+5 and gain indestructible until end of turn. That's exactly the sort of thing you need because you're going to end up having your things die to board wipes. South Pole Voyager, 1 and a white for a 2/2 ally. Whenever this creature or another ally enters or you control enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. If this is the second time this ability has resolved this turn, draw a card. So we'll talk about the infinite combo in a second here. Hero of Goma Fata, 4 and a white for a 4/3 with rally. Whenever an ally enters the battlefield, creatures you control gain indestructible. Cool, I like that. Indestructible is good. Turn Timber Ranger, 3 green for a 2/2 ally. Whenever Turn Timber Ranger or another ally enters the battlefield, you may put up a 2/2 green wolf creature token onto the battlefield. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on Turn Timber Ranger. Soka, Tenacious Tactician, 1 blue, red, white for a 3/3 ally with menace, prowess. Other allies you control have menace and prowess. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 white ally creature token. Yes, please. More allies. Yes, please. Firemental Mage, 2 and a red for a 2/2 rally. Ally enters, they gain menace until end of turn. Nothing like making the herd of creatures hard to block. Resolute Blade Master, 3 red, white for a 2/2 with ally with rally. An ally enters the battlefield, and the creatures you control gain double strike. Yes, please. Get him dead. Hagra Diabolist, 4 and a black for a 3/2 ally. Whenever an ally enters the battlefield, each player loses life equal to the number of allies you control. Okay. Drain the table. Katara the Fearless, green, white, blue for a 3/3 ally. If a triggered ability of an ally you control triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. Oh, baby, that's going to go nutty putty. Earth King's Lieutenant, white and a green for a 1/1 with ally with trample. When this creature enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on each ally creature you control. Whenever another ally you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Okay, we're getting some good stuff here. Seagate Loremaster, 4 and a blue for a 1/3. Top, draw a card for each ally you control. Okay. So if you're noticing, all the effects are on creatures. So Sky Reach Elf. X green blue for a 0/0 flying ally. With Converge, Skyrider Elf enters the battlefield. Put a +1 counter on it for each color of mana spent to cast it. In a 5-color deck, that's routinely 5 mana, but if you can cast it for much, much less. Munda's Vanguard, 4 and a white for a 3/3 ally with Cohort. Tap and untapped ally you control. Put a +1 counter on each creature you control. Okay. Ondu Cleric, 1 and a white for a 1/1 ally. Allies enter the battlefield. You gain life equal to the number of allies you control. We'll put this one here. All right. Then we have Balagad Thief, 3 and a black for a 2/2 human ally. Whenever Balagad Thief or another ally enters the battlefield, target player reveals a number of cards from his or her hand equal to the number of allies you control. Choose one of them. That player discards that card. You could conceivably trigger this 3, 4, 5 times in a turn if you can make enough allies with the tokens and the other junk. So, yeah, seems good. We have Great Divide Guide. 1 and a green for a 2/3. Each land and ally you control has tap, add 1 mana of any color, and is also an ally. So now you're going to fix your mana to get whatever you need. So we have a Unified Front. 3 and a white for a sorcery. Put a 1/1 white core ally creature token onto the battlefield for each color of mana spent to cast Unified Front. This is often 4, so you spend 4 mana, you're going to get 1 of each different color. You get 4 allies, that's 4 rally triggers. That's probably enough to overrun the table or get everybody dead. Retreat to Emeria, so it's 3 and a white, enchantment, landfall. Has 2 modes. Whenever land enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 white core ally creature token, or creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. You're making land drops. You're making this so that you make the core ally tokens and then trigger them again. And then last but not least, we have Jasmine Dragon Tea Shop. So this is a land, taps for colorless, where you can add 1 mana of any color, spend the missed mana only to cast an ally spell, or activate an ability of an ally. So 5-color ally card, yes please. And then 5 and a tap, create a 1/1 white ally creature token. Okay, so you're going to get the hint here. You're going to find lots of really potent effects. We have some amplifiers that are going to go with our allies that are going to be good. The first one we need to know about is this one here. The interaction between Arcane Adaptation or Maskwood Nexus and then Ondu Cleric and Turn Timber Ranger. Okay, so creatures you control are every creature type. The same is true for creature spells you control and creature cards you own that aren't on the battlefield. So what Maxwood Nexus and then Arcane Adaptation is the same text. You choose a creature type. Creatures you control are the chosen type in addition to their other types. Same is true for creatures you don't control. So that means that aren't on the battlefield. That means all your creatures, even ones that you make as tokens, become allies to trigger all your rally triggers all the time. Well, why does this matter? So Turn Timber Ranger says whenever an ally enters the battlefield, you make a 2/2 green wolf. So what happens is with one of these on the battlefield, and any ally triggers Turn Timber Ranger that makes a wolf. But the adaptation says that wolf is actually an ally, trigger it again. And you can trigger it an infinite number of times. With Ondu Cleric, you can now then gain an infinite amount of life to make yourself, assuredly not going to die. You're going to empty their hands of all the cards. You can, where's the other good one? Oh, that will drain them dead. But the good one that you want to play is, this Cliffhaven Vampire. With that, whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. So if you gain an infinite amount of life, you're going to drain the opponents out and they lose the game, right? So this is it is an infinite combo. All right, there is a way that you can win the game from this and get everybody dead. Do please notice it's a 4-card combo, so this is still makes a bracket 2, not a bracket 3 deck at all. But anyway, pretty fun stuff. We have a Pyre of Heroes. So this is a 2-mana artifact. Tap 2 and tap. Sacrifice a creature. Search your library for a creature card that shares a creature type with the sacrificed creature and has a converted mana cost of 1 plus that creature's converted mana cost. Put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle. So at instant speed, you go sack an ally to get an ally to trigger rally and do whatever the thing. We have a couple. So we have Restoration Angel. So this is 3 and a white for a 3/4 with flash and flying. You blink a thing, bring it back to the battlefield, and you get the rally trigger all over again. Then we have Vizier of the Menagerie and Realm Walker. So Realm Walker is a shapeshifter, so it is also an ally. But so you may look at the top card of your library, and you may cast creatures of you may spend mana of any type as over mana of any type to cast creature spells. So you just cast creature spells of the chosen type on the top of your library. So I'm casting allies. Away we go. And then we have a Panharmonicon. So 4, and it doubles the impact, the enter the battlefield trigger of any of your allies to make you go crazy. Okay, so we're going to go nuts and make your opponents very, very sad. We do need some other things to go in here. So we've got some ways to make sure that our mana works out okay. Now, we don't have a lot. Our ramp package is small, probably not optimal to say the least, but because you're playing non-basic lands, it's a little bit trickier to go fetch them all. So Reap and Sow is kind of a neat card. 3 and a green for a sorcery, and choose one. Destroy target land, or choose search your library for a land card, put that card into play, then shuffle your library, and Entwine for 1 and a green. So you can get both effects, you can pay 6. Well, I need to go get fixed for my colors of mana, so this helps me fix for my colors of mana. All right? Circuitous Route. So 3 and a green for a sorcery. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards and or gate cards. Put them onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle your library. We'll talk about that in a second. And then Spelunking. When Spelunking enters the battlefield, you may draw a card. Then you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. If you do put a cave onto the battlefield this way, you gain 4 life. Lands you control enter the battlefield untapped. So untapped lands is the name of the game, so that you do not have to be time walking yourself each and every turn. Okay, so we need to interact with our opponents and not have them kill us. So we've got things like Patriarch's Bidding. Each player chooses a creature type. I'm picking allies. I don't care what they pick. Each player returns all creature cards of a type chosen this way from their graveyard to the battlefield. I'm quite happy to pick all my allies and put them back into play. Makes my life much easier. We have a Putrefy. 1 black, green, destroy target artifact or creature. It can't be regenerated. Killing artifacts is kind of handy. Anguish of Making. 1 white, black, exile target non-land permanent. You lose 3 life. Sure, I'll lose the life if I must. Terminate. 1 in a black and a red. Destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated. Kill it dead. Divine Reckoning. 2 white, white. Each player chooses a creature he or she controls. Destroy the rest. And then I can flash it back for 5 white, white. Board wipe. Cool. Supreme Verdict. 1 white, white, blue. Supreme Verdict can't be countered. Destroy all creatures. We have a Murderous Cut. 5 and a black with Delve. It's an instant. Destroy target creature. We've got an Utter End. 2 white, black. Exile target non-land permanent. And then we have a Gaze of Granite. X, black, black, green. Destroy each non-land permanent with converted mana cost X or less. Okay, now we've got some card draw. We've got some protection here. So let's talk about the card draw. We've got Sphinx's Wrath. We have a Painful Truth or Treasure Cruise. So just good ways to draw cards. We've got some protection to make sure our things don't die. We've got a Boros Charm, a Rootborne Defenses, and a Golgari Charm. So the Golgari Charm lets you regenerate things. This gives them indestructible. This gives them indestructible. Last but not least, we have March from the Tomb. 3 white, black, sorcery. Return any number of target ally creatures with converted mana cost 8 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. Okay. Last but not least, we have a couple of other things. We have an ally encampment. So this is a 5-color ally card. So allows you to cast allies. And then 1 and tap, sacrifice ally encampment, return target ally you control to its owner's hand. So if they're going to kill one of your key cards, you can return it to your hand so it doesn't die. Last but not least, we have a Maze's End. So because I'm playing Gates, this is a sneaky alternate win con that you can sneak into your deck, and then it lets you fetch up the gates that you want to put them into play so you can fix your colors. It was kind of a neat idea. I've done it once, actually. I had a table that let me get away with it, and it was kind of a big old laugh. Anyway, that's the deck. It is definitely a bracket 2 deck. It is slow. It is a little bit a little bit ponderous. But if your opponents let you get to the point where you can start attacking, allies pack one heck of a wallop. You can very easily drop the whole table from, whatever their life total is to very little very quickly, with only having cast a few creatures. In that way, it kind of feels like a landfall deck or some other deck where really all you're counting is the number of things that enter the battlefield that are of the same type that everybody cares about. So allies in this case. And if you can stack enough of them up, you're going to get everybody dead. There's most of the things in the deck. You don't have to play the mana base that I'm playing. I'm playing some of the fetch lands. I own actual fetch lands or proxies in this deck, but I own the fetch lands to put in it and the shock lands and everything else to go. The mana base probably could be tweaked and adjusted and upgraded to be more contemporary to 2025. But, for playing a bracket 2 deck, it's perfectly fine. You're going to hit your colors. You're going to be able to cast your spells. You're going to have a good time. It's a fun deck. Check the list down below if you want to be curious what's in it, how much it might cost you, along with all of our other decks on Moxfield that are highlighted here on the channel. If you like what you hear, please like and subscribe. We're trying to get to 100. We've picked up a few extra ones. We're not quite there, but we'd love some extra help. So if you like what you hear, please join us here on the channel. Otherwise, if you want to hear more of our content, you can hear our weekly podcast. We've been having a bit of a break because Pete has been going to school and full-time, and I've been a busy person with my career. So we've been not recording as many episodes, but we're going to get some recorded over the holidays here coming up, and so there'll be fresh content coming from us in the near future. So please stay tuned. Otherwise, that's all I got tonight, folks. General Tazri, give it a try. I think you're going to find that you kind of like it. All right, thanks, everybody. Talk to you later.